Hello everybody. Let us discuss the different tests to be conducted on self-compacting concrete. The test to be conducted for self-compacting concrete workability properties can be categorized into three categories. First one is filling ability test. The second one is passing ability test. And the third one is segregation resistant test. To check the filling ability of self-compacting concrete, some of the tests such as slump flow test, T50 cm slump flow test, or sometimes it is also called a T500 mm slump flow test. Then Ormet test and V-funnel test can be conducted. Similarly, to check the passing ability of self-compacting concrete, L-box test, U-box test, fill box test and J-ring test can be conducted. Likewise, to check the segregation resistance of self-compacting concrete, V-funnel test at T5 minutes and GTM screen stability test can be conducted. Right. Now, we will see the guideline for self-compacting concrete. There is an organization in Europe called FNOR. They are also the experts for specialized construction and concrete system. FNORC is the European Federation dedicated to special construction chemicals and concrete systems. They give the guidelines for self-compacting concrete specification, production and use. Therefore, the procedure given in FNORC can be taken as the guideline to ensure the compliance to self-compacting concrete requirements. Now, we will see about J-ring test. J-ring test will give us the passing ability of the fresh self-compacting concrete mix. Passing ability means concrete passing easily among various obstacles and also filling in narrow spacing in formwork without showing any blockage. That means while flowing the concrete, if it faces any obstructions, maybe the reinforcements, then there may be a chance of local segregation of aggregates at that particular place. This local segregation should not happen for any concrete in works. People used to say this J-ring test is based on the principle or the origin of this test may be Japanese, but there are no references known for that. This J-ring test can also be conducted both in the laboratory and on site. The thing is, we need level ground at the site to perform this test. Another one is carrying the base plate to the site because the size of the base plate is somewhat wide. Now, we will see the equipment used for J-ring test. The main equipment for this test is an open steel ring having rectangular cross section of 30 mm wide and 25 mm thickness. The open diameter of the ring is 300 mm. On this ring, drilled vertical holes are there at regular intervals to insert reinforcement bars and fixed. Generally, 10 mm to 16 mm diameter and 100 mm to 125 mm height of reinforcement bar will be used. Normally, in most of the cases, 10 mm diameter bar is used, but use of a 10 mm diameter is not a constant. We can also use different diameter bars and spacing between the reinforcing bars can be adjusted to simulate the congestion of reinforcement which is going to be used at the site. Normally, The spacing between the reinforcement will be considered as 3 times of the maximum size of aggregate used in that concrete. These J-rings, both in adjustable type as well as fixed in different diameter rods, are readily available in the markets. In addition to this J-ring, for this test also, the same conventional Abrams slump cone having the top diameter 100 mm, bottom diameter 200 mm and the height 300 mm is needed. The base plate size should be minimum of 700 mm in square shape. The material of the base plate should be made up of stiff and non-absorbing material. There should be a marking of a concentric circle of 500 mm diameter from the center of the base plate. The other accessories required are scoop, trowel, scale and stopwatch. This picture shows an example of a typical base plate used for J-ring test. Before start of the test, a concentric circle of 500 mm diameter from the center of the base plate should be drawn using a temporary marker. This is must. This picture shows a typical J-ring apparatus. So the entire setup is called J-ring. This is the top open ring. The diameter of this open ring is 300 mm. The cross section of this top ring width is 30 mm and the thickness is 25 mm. There is a vertical drilled slots in which you can insert the reinforcement bars. These are the reinforcement bars. Normally this may be 10 mm in diameter, but different diameter of rods may also be used depending upon to simulation in the site condition. The height of this reinforcement bar normally 100 mm or sometimes up to 125 mm. Again it depends upon the site simulation condition. The spacing of these reinforcement bars 3 times the maximum size of coarse aggregate used. The J-ring and the slump cone should be placed exactly at the center of the base plate. Slump cone can be placed like normal position, that is in upright position, or sometimes it can also be placed in an inverted manner. Nothing wrong in it. Scoop can be used to take the fresh concrete and fill into the slump cone. Trowel can be used to strike up the top surface and level the fresh concrete in slump cone. To measure the floor diameter and the height of concrete inside the J-ring and outside the J-ring, and the time taken to reach the final position of concrete, scale and stopwatch can be used. Now we will see how to perform this J-ring test. The procedure is almost similar to slump floor test. That is, the same procedure followed for slump floor test is followed for J-ring test also. Here, in addition to the slump cone, the J-ring is also be placed at the center of the base plate. First, slightly make the top of the base plate and inside of the slump cone wetness may be used with crude oil. Place the base plate over the leveled ground surface. Now, place the J-ring at the center of the base plate and place the slump cone inside center of the J-ring. A slump cone can be either placed in upright position, that means in normal position, or it can be placed in an inverted manner also. Fill the fresh concrete into a slump cone using a scoop in a gentle manner. At this time, we should not tamp the concrete like conventional concrete. Once it is filled, level the top surface, simply striking off the concrete using the trowel. Remove the excess concrete around the base of cone and on the base plate and clean it immediately. Now, raise the cone vertically to a maximum height of 300 mm in maximum 4 seconds without any lateral or torsional motion and allow the concrete to flow freely out. We have to start the stopwatch in parallel while starting the lifting of the cone. We have to record the time taken for the concrete to reach 500 mm diameter spread circle. The time taken by the concrete to reach a 500 mm diameter circle is called T50J time, or sometimes called T500J time. T50J time means time taken to reach 50 cm diameter in J-ring test, and T500J time means time taken to reach 500 mm diameter in J-ring test. The finding of T50J or T500J time may be considered if it is requested. Otherwise, we can leave it. At the end, we have to measure the maximum final diameter of the spread concrete in two perpendicular directions. Then, calculate the average of the two measured diameters. Here, we have to note that any border of mortar or cement paste with or without coarse aggregate at the outer edge of the concrete to identify segregation resistance. Also, we have to measure the height of concrete just inside and outside of the reinforcement bars at minimum of 4 different locations. That is, 2 locations along x direction and 2 locations along y direction. That is perpendicular to x direction. Find the average of the difference in height of all 4 locations. We have to complete this entire procedure from the start of filling the concrete and removal of the cone without any interruption within a maximum at 2.5 minutes. The same procedure can be followed with and without J-ring. That is, if we do not place J-ring, then it is simply a slump flow test. If we place the J-ring, then it is called J-ring flow test. This picture shows before and after the test. This picture shows the base plate and the J-ring placed at the center of the base plate. Then a slump cone placed inside the J-ring at the center of J-ring as well as the base plate. So this is how the setup should be made before start of your test for J-ring. So once it is completed, the test, at the end, you have to measure the maximum diameter at one direction, that is this may be x direction, maximum diameter, and the other diameter which is perpendicular to x direction, that is in y direction, you have to measure. Take an average of this diameter as a slump flow value. Then measure the height of concrete inside the J ring like this and outside the J ring like this. Like this, at 4 different locations you have to measure the height both inside and outside. Take an average of both inside and outside 4 different locations. The difference of these two values you have to compare for analyzing the results and to say your recommendation, that is about passing ability of self-compacting concrete making use of this J-ring test. Now let's see how to interpret the test results. To analyze the J-ring flow value, we need to have slump flow value also, that is without J-ring and using only a slump cone. At first, we will find T50 J time or T500 J time in seconds. That is, time taken by the concrete to reach 50 centimeter or 500 millimeter diameter circle during J-ring test. Now calculate J-ring flow value in millimeter. That is, an average of 2 diameters measured in 2 mutually perpendicular directions. Having slump flow value finds the difference between the slump flow value and the J-ring flow value. If the difference of value is between 0 and 25 millimeter, then we can say there is no visible blocking because of that concrete. If the difference of value is between 25 millimeter and 50 millimeter, then we can say there is some minimal visible blocking that may happen to that concrete. If the difference of value is greater than 50 millimeter, then we can say there is more chance of extreme visible blocking may happen to that concrete. We also have an average difference in height of all 4 locations taken inside and outside of the J-ring. If the difference of height is between 0 and 10 millimeter, then there will not be a blocking chance. If the difference of height is more than 10 millimeter, then there may be a chance of blocking of flow of that concrete. To conclude, this J-ring test is mostly used for finding the passing ability or the degree to which the passage of concrete through the reinforcing bars is restricted. If the J-ring result is less than 10 mm, then the viscosity of the concrete is too high. If you want to reduce the viscosity of the concrete, then viscosity modifying agents, in short we used to call it as VMA, that can be added to that concrete. I hope this lecture may provide some ideas about the conduct of J-ring test for self-compacting concrete and its significance. Thank you.